Hi everyone, my name is Shaoyang, and in the presentation today, I would like to talk about the microtask crowdsourcing. And to be more specific, what I would like to go over is study that I did on how to build a good relationship with the MTech workers. So crowdsourcing is very important. For example, for the transferring learning, so by adding a small people into the loop of the machine learning, just a few new annotation can make your transferring learn much more effective. And let's start with a little background and motivation about my presentation. Okay, so there are two roles on the microtask platform market, requesters, and you guys can be a requesters to publish your task and assign some money. And you can run some add some quality control method from the good question, attention check question to some real-time detection method. You can track the worker's activity by using some JavaScript and to see whether or not they pay attention to your question and whether or not they play your radio, whether or not they click your images. And on the other hand, hundred of the thousands of the workers, they select the task they want and finish your task and provide their data. However, even you did a very good task design with a perfect interface, and you still don't have very good data quality. The reason is very simple. It's no one wants to do your task because you don't have any reputation. You have very bad reputation. So, because according to a survey, almost 40% of the workers use the microtask as their main source of the income. So which means they are very professional. They will use different kind of the script to catch the good hit or good task and try to avoid the bad requesters. For example, for the Turk or Opticon, they can see the reviews from the other workers and display it in the task list. Then they can pick the task depending on the other people's reviews. So if you have a very bad reputation, you have zero chance to get in touch with the good workers. So in the topic today, so I will maintain a good reputation and a trust relationship with the crowd worker is very important to obtain the high quality data. Okay, so in the presentation today, I will talk about 5 things. So 5 actions you can do on the microtask crowdsourcing marketplace. And the first thing is rejection. You can reject the worker's work if you don't feel they are good. And you can also create different qualifications to filter out the different worker or pick the worker you want. And you can also bonus the worker and to attract the more workers to do your task. You can also approve their work. You can also ban the worker from your task. Okay, so let's start with the rejections, which is the most important topic in the microtask crowdsourcing. But the rejection is a double-edged sword. If you reject some workers' work, so they will lose the money, and their reputation will also damaged. So which means they have the less chance to access more tasks in the future. Because most of the requesters, they will use something called the historical approve rate to filter out the different workers. They will create a threshold, for example, 95% to pick the out worker. And even if you if a full worker with they have finished more than 10,000 tasks before, but only one rejection can also make their reputation decrease because the microtask crowdsourcing platform uses the rundown method. So which is very ridiculous. So you have to, if you reject them, they will lose money and lose reputations. And it's also will cause your reputation decrease if you create too many rejections. Because I mentioned earlier, a lot of workers will use a Turk Opticon to pick the workers. If you reject too much, then they will publish your information into their online communities. And in that case, a lot of people will treat you as a bad requester. Then you have zero chance to in touch with the good workers. So so what you need to do is when you reject worker, you have provide very very detailed information, like why you reject them, and also keep in touch with them by the email, because many people they will also say something your task design is not working, then from their email then you can fix your problem. Also, you try to avoid rejection, avoid the reason to reject worker by your fault, because maybe sometimes your design is pretty bad and they can't really do your task. In that case, you should not reject them, and also you should not reject the outlier. And you should do that in your data analysis section rather than in the data collection sections, right? And also try to use the qualification to filter out the worker to do your task in the future rather than to reject them. And which I will talk later what is qualification and how to do that. So okay, there are two kinds of the qualifications. One is system qualifications, which is you can to filter out or select the worker you want based on three information location, number of the head complete, and which is very useful. And another thing is master qualification, and it's something you should never use. It's a premium service, you have to pay the extra money to employ some worker they call the master. But according a lot of studies, they found the data quality created by the master student is no different with the normal workers. And you should never use this service. And another thing you should use is customer qualifications. And it's really useful. And you can use APIs to assign to a different value to some qualification tab you create. By doing this, by using an API real time, you can do three main things. First, you can prevent worker to do your task multiple times. And for example, after they finish task, you use your API to assign that one value to their types. Then you can only allow the worker with non-one values to do your task. And another thing you can do is you can run screen tests. After screen tests, you can assign them different values based on their performance. And you can recruit the worker based on their performance to do your follow-up studies. And always remember to use API. And another thing is you can ban the worker, we call it a soft ban, worker to do a task, just assign them a value, then don't only use the worker without that value to do a task. Then you can do the ban functions. And another thing you can do is you can bonus worker. So by bonusing worker, you can to attract more worker to do a task. And however, in that case, you have to be careful two things. One thing is you have to make sure your payment method is clear. So you have to make sure the worker know when you are going to pay them, how much you are going to bonus them, and what's the standard to bonus them. And because sometimes you claim you will bonus them in your task description, but in fact you don't, people will be mad and they will publish your things into the forums and make your reputation because another thing to be careful, you have to approve their task on time by using the API. So because you don't have any reputation, so people will try to test the water before they do a lot of your task. So you have to make the payment on time, make them to trust you. So another thing I can talk is the ban function. In fact, they have a built-in ban function. So we call it hard blocking. So, but the bad thing about that is if you block a worker, they will receive an email. And in that case, they will complain your action into their forums. So, and also if a worker receives too many bans, they will also lose the access to the platform. So in that case, it will make them more angry. So you should never use this function, and you should use the qualification to block a worker, which you don't damage your reputation. You also make sure the bad worker do not have chance to touch your task in the future. So okay, how to build a good relationship as a new requester. First thing is in your task, you need to include a good example, also a bad example. Like by doing this, people can understand, okay, this requester have a very clear standard to reject worker or to accept your task, so they can know what they are trying to do. Because a lot of new requesters, they don't know what they try to get, what data they try to get. So this is something you have to do, include a good example and a bad example. Also to remember to include an informed consent form and the contact information in the task. There are two reasons. First, like a lot of workers, they start to care about their privacy. So you have to let them know how you are going to use their data set. Another thing is like many workers, they use those information as a weapon to defend themselves. Like if they receive like a bad treatment, they can complain your things to your school. So they will feel more safe to do that, to have those information. Another thing is you have to pay them very good. A lot of workers, they believe the less you pay them, the less you care about them. So you have to make sure you pay enough money so they can trust you. And also you have to make your payment on time and also provide like a very positive feedback to them. Also, when you decide task, try to avoid some like unethical task content, and also provide standard for the uncertain answers. Like because sometimes all the questions get the answers. For example, when you try to ask a worker to annotate some very bluffing images, so there's no way they can get correct answers. So you have to provide that option to them. And also make sure your task is very functional. And how to do that? We have something called a sandbox. So you have to run your task in the sandbox before you really publish your task into the public. And you can test your APIs. It's very important. You have to know all the API. And the good thing about MTurk is they provide all the language. So it's very easy to use. And so always to run your task in your sandbox first before you do the task. And another thing I forgot to mention is the follow-up studies. How to make sure you gather enough worker to do your follow-up studies. You have to send them a message by using building APIs and tell them who you are, because they do a lot of tasks on one day. And you also have to tell them what's your task about and how you are going to pay them, how long will it take you to pay them, and make things very clear. Also make sure you pay them on time. And that's it. Thank you for your time. I'm ready for any question and comments. Okay. And have you guys used a microtask platform before? No? Okay. In fact, you can try to use them. Okay, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's a good one. Sometimes I did it once actually before. I do second validation from this from my side. I get the first annotation from them, and after that I validate all the data from myself. So
yes, after you collect the data, you have to aggregate your data. There are a lot of ways. Most easy way is the most of both. For example, you invite 5 people to do the same task. Then if you 3 of them agree on one option, you can see that option is very valid. And another thing you can do is you can ask them to provide their confidence levels. If they have more confidence, then you will believe that the answer could have more weight. And always remember, you have to prepare or recruit your own workforce. You build a very long time relation with them. You don't have to run all other quality control methods because you can trust them because they are your employee. So, and you can try to use the crowdsourcing in your transformer learning. It could be very useful. Just put them in the loop of the machine learning. After interrogation, you can try to pick some samples. A lot of ways to pick samples. For example, random samplings, or you can also pick the samples from the boundary, something like that, and assign them to your workers. ask them to validate your like a machine model. I believe that in that case, your model will like improve a lot. The performance of model will improve a lot. Yeah. And if you have any question about crowdsourcing, or you try to want to use them in the future, you can send me an email. Like I can work with you guys to get a very good like models or algorithms or data sets. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Oh, okay.
Just wondering how much people can make per hour?
In fact, they are standard. You have to make sure you provide them like the U.S. federal minimum like, hourly wage, like which is $7.8 per hour. But there is no rules on the MTurk, so you have to make your rules by yourself. You have to be a fair like a payment, because it's something very ethical or something you have to approve by your school. So because all the crowdsourcing like involve the human being, which means you have to get approved from the school. So in that case, you can tell them how much you're gonna pay them. If the school agree, then you can pay them that much. But I believe the minimum like a federal like hourly wage is the minimum. So since you need to pay them.
I would just consider it to work as an educator myself.
Yes, but in fact, it's pretty hard to get enrollment in the MTurk, and because like MTurk, they don't provide standard to pick the workers. Like most of the workers, like they try to enroll, they fail. So it's pretty hard to get in, to enroll your account. And sometimes because maybe you don't have the US like security code, maybe like you are not like a very loyal Amazon like a worker, or like Amazon like a buyer or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty hard. You can try to get one, but if you get one, it could be very lucky. Yeah, but it's another thing, and yeah, but I encourage you to become requesters. Like because like many people complain about machine learning is like people are trying to only use the like a constant data set, which is not the case in the real life. So all the data is generated every day. So you have to make sure your model is working in a flow of the loops, or try to make it working in a real time, real world. Okay,
Thanks.
that's it. Thank you.
Just to follow up on that last point, I actually strongly encourage you to try to be the worker, the human annotator yourself. Do tasks as many as you can on the platform. So if you are able to enroll and get an account, spend maybe 2-3 hours doing tasks and see what it is like on the other side. To do a task you know nothing about, all you have is these short instructions, and then you need to do something. And you need very quickly, because time is money, right? You are paid per task, so the quicker you do the task, the more money per hour you get. Try to do it and see what it means to know nothing about the project, the data set, and the annotation, and then do it. And this is a very good learning experience when you are on the other side and you need to explain to these people which type of annotations you want.
Okay, I'm back. So in this part, let me with you together to work through a real-world project, how to design a task, to collect some data, and how to process the data. This project was provided by Google, called AI for Social Good. And because we want to protect the conservation, protection for the conservation, and for focus on West Africa chimpanzees. And we see, experts have seen that there are many population declines. So they put the cameras in the forest and they observe each individual, record the animal behaviors, gather important information about the wildlife. So they want to understand the chimpanzee community, how many chimpanzees and who are they? This is probably the most difficult thing. So who are they? Let me show you some pictures. So I'm standing here, you can see I'm very different from all of you, but here we want to recognize if this chimpanzee you have seen anywhere, who is he or who is she? You see, actually this one is very different from this one, right? The color of the face is different. So each chimpanzee identity is different. Now, we can build some algorithms for human face recognition, but for animals, it's very difficult because when we do the human face recognition, you can ask me to stand there. You take a photo for me. But for chimpanzees, how can we do that? It's very difficult. But the project is that we want to do that. So the challenge is here. They put the cameras in the forest and the video, they have millions of videos. They only have 5 people to watch this video. So it's really a big challenge. So the objective is that when a new video comes, they want to do 3 things. First, they want to recognize is this video is about chimpanzee or not, and what is the difficulty to recognize this chimpanzee. And after knowing that, they will do some task allocation. And for difficult chimpanzee identification, they send it to the experts. For easy ones, they send to crowd workers, or they build some algorithms can automatically process these 1 million videos. Now, the first step has completed. They built an algorithm to identify if this video contains chimpanzee or not. If the video only contains elephant, lion, or something else, then they just discard it. So after this step, all the videos are about chimpanzees. So we need to do that to recognize a specific chimpanzee ID and estimate how difficult it is. Now we want to do the difficulty estimation. Now we have 2 videos here. The first one, I tell you, this is John Smith. Now you see John Smith is there. Okay, this is a video. Now in the second video, we see some chimpanzee there. Is John Smith shown here? Who can tell me? Yes or no? So we see it's really difficult, right? So we want to recognize a specific identity, but it's difficult. So in this project, the goal is to study the difficulty of identifying and matching chimpanzee identities. We call this IDs. The data set we have contains 5,000 videos of 120 IDs that has been confirmed by experts. So we have the labels for these chimpanzees, 120 chimpanzees. That means that we have their names, and we can use that as the ground truth. Now, question is that how can we design a task to collect some annotations from MPerk? So we need to think about what type of data do we expect, and do they need some task-specific skills, and what questions we want to ask them to answer. So here is an example. We show them a video, and we ask them, how difficult do you think to extract some features like the color, the size, or something? And we have a 5-level scale, and we ask them to write some text. So in such task design, there are some problems here. So what type of data we can get from this task design that is the self-reported difficulty, right? it's self-reported is not reliable. We have shown that sometimes they think they are confident, but actually it's wrong. So it's not reliable. It's a problem. So we may want to avoid such design. And do they need task-specific skills? Right, they need to translate this text, this part of text, into some images. So they don't have, if they don't have any experience of classifying any chimpanzees or animals, they don't know what it means, right? Even for some words here, I don't know what it means. So they need some task-specific skills. And the questions also not clear. So we need to make the questions as simple as possible. So how can we improve? Can anyone tell me how can we improve? Yes.
We can give them a good example and a bad example.
Yes, we want to put them into context. Right, here we only see one video. It's difficult to understand if we can recognize it or not. We don't know the others, we don't know this context, so we need to understand what is the context. So here is an improved version of the task. We can still think about these three questions. What type of data do we expect? So here we show them some good examples. We also show them some, sorry.
Videos?
Yes, all these are video. So each of the video only lasts 15 seconds. So it's a short video. So we show them, like machine learning, we show them three positive examples, and we also show them three negative examples. In such task design, they are able to learn in the task how to recognize John Smith. And we also they can also see some negative example that John Smith is not there. So they can learn from this task. Then in the same page, we ask them some questions. Is John Smith presented in this video? Yes or no? That is a binary, right? Unlike the previous version, they need to write a lot of text. Here, they just need to click the button. So, as usual, we put a sliding bar to indicate some levels of the self-reported difficulties and also a free text area. So now I have another question. In such task design, we see this is an improved version, and it works well, and we tried several months before. The question is that how can we control the quality? If we have the task design like this, how can we control the quality? Can someone tell me? Yes.
Maybe asking several users to do the same task and get.
Yes, that is one way. We send the same task to different people and then collect their answers and then aggregate, like majority vote. If 3 people say yes, 2 people say no, oh, okay, that's yes. That's one way. And others? Any other ideas? All right, I will show you the next slide. Can you see some differences? What is the difference between the 2 pages except for the page numbers?
No pre-selected option.
Just pre-selected?
Select your button or check.
Yes, right here. We see here, that is a radio button. They can only choose one, right? But in the next page, it changed to the select box, checkbox. They can select multiple things, right? So in this way, we know that the correct answer should be 1 and only 1. If they check 2, that doesn't make sense. I asked you if John Smith presented in this video, you answer yes and no. What does it mean? It doesn't make sense. So in this way, only certain combination of the selection makes sense. So if some worker just tick next, then this worker see, oh, it's a selection box. I just randomly tick someone and go next. Then we know that, right? So this is a way of attention check questions. If you pay attention to this question, you know that is binary classification. If you don't pay attention, you will randomly select this checkbox. It doesn't make sense. This will get you excluded in our data analysis. By this way, we can control the quality. It works well. And what else can we do? So just a simple task here, we can do many things to control our quality, right?
Maybe the length of task, like 15 seconds, that's the video is 15 seconds.
Yes, that's correct. So we ask them to watch these videos, and each of these videos are 15-second videos. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 examples, and also they need to classify 6 question videos. So that is 12 in total. If you spend the time less than the total of these 12 videos, that means that you have not watched all of them. It's not acceptable, right? What else?
Maybe some questions that to get the name of that questions.
Right. Because we want to know if they can correctly answer this question or not. So that is what we ask them to do. So in this case, we cannot embed the gold question because we want to see if they can do it correctly or not. Right. So it's not work for this example. But there's one more thing we can do. What's that? Right, we ask them to input these values as the form. So we can see here, maybe this snapshot is not good. We provide a sliding bar here, and the initial value is in the middle. We ask them to indicate how difficult they think is easy or not easy. So they need to be able to drag the sliding bar somewhere. If they have never touched this sliding bar, we know. So we can assume that this worker will be not good in our task, right? Because we have 6 videos. So in our experiment we did several months before, we check if this sliding bar has been moved in 4 out of 6. So we allow the worker not to move that in 2 of the videos, but for the other 4, we ask them to ever move the sliding bar. And also by JavaScript, you can check if they click on the video or not. So there are many ways to control the quality. Okay, so the task is there. Let's do a live experiment. Yes, this is the Amazon Mechanical Turk where we usually run our crowdsourcing tasks to get some annotations. So first we need to create an account as the requester because we want to collect some labels. We are requesting data. So we already have an account, so we can sign in here. So this is the UI of this platform. It's not amazing, but it can let us to run our task and do our experiment. So as the first step, we need to set up a new project. they provide some templates to publish this project. And we see there are some popular tasks here. And if we can randomly pick up one. So this is the template on the right-hand side. And if you create this project, it will let you to enter some metadata. So let's forget this at this time. Let's see the design of layout. So if you are able to write some JavaScript and HTML, then you can write this page. This is the not standard HTML, but the standard HTML plus some customized text here. So you can just use that, or you can write from scratch if you know how to write that. Actually, I have created the task template several months ago. Now, let me talk about the metadata. We need to provide the project name, that is the name for your reference, and the title, description, keywords will be published on the platform. And this should be very clear to tell the workers what it's about. The keywords we provide in this task is chimpanzee animal recognition. That is what we want to do. Now, that is the set up the task. We need to define how much we reward for the crowd workers. So here I put $2 per task. This is actually based on our pilot test. So on our pilot test, we can check how much time they spend on average. For example, 10 pilots, on average, how much time they spend in this task. Then based on that information, we can decide how much we reward to the workers. Actually, we pay $10 per hour. That means that $1 for 6 minutes. And the average of the task is 12 minutes, that is $2. Right. Last month, the US federal minimum wage is $7.5 per hour. We pay 10, more than that. And also, this is approved by UQ Ethics Committee. So this amount should be good. And the number of assignments per task, that means that we assign the same task to 3 different workers. Right? We want to make the aggregation, then we need to collect the data from different workers. So here, that's three assignments per task. And the time allotted per assignment at 30 minutes. That means that if the task, you open this task and accept to work on that, after 30 minutes, if you have not submitted, this task will not be submitted because you exceed this time. This is because we observed that some workers open the browser for several tasks simultaneously. So they just open that, then work on that, then switch the page from here to there, so that that quality may not be good. And the task expires in 21 days. I just randomly put some numbers here. And auto approval and pay for workers in 10 minutes. So workers, after worker submission, we need to approve or reject. We need to do something in the system. If there's no action doing that, after 10 minutes, it will be automatically approved, and the worker will get the reward. So the less this time, the quicker the worker will get the reward, right? And here, this section is worker requirement. As Sean said, we never use masters to do that because it's more expensive and the quality is not good. And we can set some specific qualifications to filter the workers. The number of tasks approved greater than here 500. That means that if a new worker has less than 500 tasks approved, will not be able to do our tasks, right? This can guarantee we get some workers with some levels of experience on the platform. And the approval rate greater than 90% means that they are not being rejected for a lot of tasks. And here, this is my customized qualification because we don't allow someone who have completed our task to come back again. So we create a column in the CSV and put a number there, and this is what you can decide. After this, then we go to the task design. As I said, if you are able to write some HTML, you can do this. And you can embed the JavaScript to check what I have said in task. So after this, we will have the preview. Right, let's go back to this task. We can see that for each of the tasks, the template is the same. And we just need to change the videos, right? And the chimpanzee names. So these are variables in our task. And in the task template, we need to also set the variables, the chimpanzee name and the video. This will be automatically uploaded when you publish a task. I will show you later. So this is the template. After setting up this template, we can publish a task. Now we need to upload a CSV with these variables. So the variables looks like this. So we need to be able to set the chimpanzee names. There is a column called name and 6 test videos and 3 negative examples and 3 positive examples. These are videos. Of course, we need to upload the videos onto the internet. This is publicly available. If not, if you upload from your computer, you need to upload that to S3 storage. That is part of Amazon product. So we have these variables. We can add more columns because the result will also contain everything in this CSV. So I add for some columns that would be useful for me to post-process the data and do the data analytics, right? So after we set up this, we can upload to the system. Here. So there's a warning saying that there are some columns not exist in the templates. That's fine because I add more columns there. Then we just upload. We can see here each row is a task. We have 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 tasks. That is a task variable. Okay, the task is here. So the chimpanzee name in this task is Archie, and we see there are videos, 3 positive videos, and 3 negative videos, and video 1, 2, 3 for them to classify. we can preview this task. Actually, there are only 5 tasks here, but if there are 500, probably we just need to check some of them. Then it's good to go. We just click the next. So here is the summary of the batch, and we see we have 5 tasks. We assign 1 task to 3 different workers, that is 15 in total. And we pay $2 per task, 15, that is 30. And the platform requires 20% service charge, so that gives us 36. We need to spend $36 to publish. If I click this button, 36 will be deducted from ITEE. So I did this morning, exactly the same process. So let's see what I get now. So around 8:30 this morning, I published the task with exactly the same setting. Oh, it's completed. It's complete. So it's for PhD school. Now let's see what the result looks like. What's this? We just need to download the CSV because it will be automatically approved in 10 minutes. So all the work has been approved. Let's see what is the data quality we can see in the task. Okay, the result is here. So this is the result. After you collect the data, this is what you get, the CSV file. And task ID, these are some parameters in the system, and description, keywords, reward, all this metadata is there, and we can check, let me see, some metadata check, all approved. And we see work time in seconds. We see how much time each of the workers spent on these tasks. So as I said before, they need to watch 12 videos, and each of them 15 seconds. So okay, it's more than that. So I cannot reject this worker, discard this worker's answer by this reason. So all the workers have spent enough time to complete the task, and we also can see their answers, right? So here, this column is what I used to check if they have ever moved the sliding bar. So we have 6 videos. 1, 2, 3, 4 means that they move the sliding bar in video 1, video 2. I just use the JavaScript to get this, so there's no problem. So for this worker, we see 1, 2, 6, 5. This worker moved the sliding bar in video 1, video 2, then video 6, then video 5. That's it. This worker doesn't move the sliding bar in video 3 and 4. That is what we can see from the data. Right. And we can check if they have. So here is let's go back to the task design. Voted yes, voted no. If they check both of them, it doesn't make sense, right? So here is video 1 voted no, video 1 voted no idea. Oh, that's not bad. That means that this worker voted no and hard to say. It makes sense, right? This combination makes sense because I don't know, it's hard to say, so I can't say yes, it's no. So behind this design, there's a logic there, right? You can see. And they also input some text. Right. Okay, any questions? I think I ran most of the time. And also I have the previous version. Let me just show you previous version. What I get angry is that crowd, this one, not this one, batch. Can't find it. Batch results. So I ran the task some months ago. We just checked the sliding bar. We see these workers have never moved the sliding bar. That is what I can see from the data. So it may be some signals this worker just take and go next. Of course, I need to check the other quality control methods, right? But from here we can see this is for sure. And also I checked if their mouse clicks in the page. It is logged here. I see there is a long list of that. There's nothing wrong, but this one, they don't even click on the task, right? There's no click on this task. They just go next. So this is the problem. In our analysis, we may want to remove such result. And also, I see some answers tick both yes and no. If they tick that, it should be true. But let me check if some is there. Here. No. Oh, I have processed this. There's no such things. So originally I get about, I received 240 workers and about 10 of them tick both yes and no. Okay. That's all. Hope you have learned something that is useful for your future research.